Hey friend, welcome to the Incessant Bookworm. If you haven't already, I suggest going to take a look at my January TBR for 2021s, where I outline all the books I plan to read. Most of them are print books, most of them are books that are unread on my own bookshelf, and then some have to do with the Read Around the World Challenge. Also, if you're not following me on my Bookstagram or my Twitter pages, feel free to do that too. I document and upload videos, posts, and things like that a little bit more frequently than here on my YouTube channel. So if you want to be more up to date and check on things daily instead of waiting for my weekly vlogs, feel free to do that. Today is all about doing a reading vlog. So what does that mean? We're about to find out because I haven't done one before, but this weekend is probably a good time for me to do this and to get off of social media, do some digital minimalism, since there's a lot happening in this first week of January, especially in the United States and DC area. So wanted to kind of disconnect and do some escapism into a book and document that experience for you all. So I'm not sure, again, what this will look like. I've seen folks do reading vlogs in the past, and it's kind of a mix of reactions of maybe a third of the way, a quarter of the way, or hitting different major plot points, showing the reactions and what I think. Maybe there's some spoilers in there. So if you are nervous about hearing about the spoilers for this particular book, please feel free to check this video out another time. You will not hurt my feelings, it's fine. So the book that I am choosing to do a reading vlog for is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. So this is, well, first off, I take off the covers of all my hardbacks because I don't like them getting wrinkly, and they're always hard to keep on, especially when books are a little bit heavier and they just keep sliding. So I feel a lot of people feel the same way as me. So I just took that off. If you want to see what the cover looks like, ignore the sticker, but that is what the United States version is, and a little bit in there. And then, let's see, we have a little bit of decoration on the front here. Not sure what that's supposed to be, but I'm sure I will find out as I dig deeper into the book. So what do I know about The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue? Well, first I should say, this is my first V.E. Schwab. So I purchased Darker Shade of Magic, I think that's what it's called. I think that's the first of a trilogy or a series by her. I think it's more geared towards young adult. So I bought that back in the fall from the Cincy Book Bus, but I put it on my shelf amongst other books that are waiting there for another time. But this one specifically stood out to me. One, I know bestsellers, hypes, all that kind of stuff. It could be hit or miss. I know there's other books I should be reading, but this one really intrigued me with the idea of somebody going through life day to day, and then she is forgotten, or she kind of is anonymous and nobody really remembers her. And I saw this movie, oh my goodness, I think it was on Hulu, maybe Netflix, over spring, summer-ish, where it was kind of a similar vibe, but the main character, it's more of like a soul or an embodiment, and they take over a person's life for a day and then moves on to somebody else the next day. And it's very fascinating because the person they inhabit, or I guess that's the right term for it, they don't remember what happens, and it's not their choice really to jump around from body to body, but they are kind of forgotten about because they don't have a living body to live through. So that concept was very interesting to me, and that's why I wanted to read this as well, of what happens when somebody does remember you and you're not so invisible anymore, and what that can mean in the bigger picture of things, of people going through life feeling like people don't see them and they're right in front of them. So that's my thought with that. Yeah, so I have my iced coffee. I have been very productive today leading up to this moment. I went to a spin class this morning. I had a good breakfast. Doing laundry, you might hear the washer going. My apologies for that. And then showered, did my hair. Basic stuff just to make sure I could focus on the book. And hopefully I'll finish it today. If not, I'll continue it into the next day and hopefully be able to produce this video for you all on Monday. So if you're watching this on Monday, great. I was able to finish it in 1 to 2 days before I was supposed to get this video out. So I also have brought these book darts, I guess. So I have a bunch of these. So in case, oh my gosh, there we go. I find something interesting that I want to mark off. I don't really mark my books too much, but because this is going to be a little bit slower pace, then I'll have to stop and give reactions and everything, which is good. I need to slow down my reading and get the quality experience from it. So I'll be putting those in. I also have, yikes, I'll be highlighting. I'll be writing in pencil in case I, want to give to somebody else and not have all my notes all over it. And I have a pen as well. So we'll see if these actually get used. I might just get into the moment of it and then remember, oh shoot, I should probably mark something down, but I'll also have a review for it. So yes, I think we'll go ahead and get started. You'll see a bunch of me reading. So feel free to fast forward during those parts, but I'll try to give some real-time reactions as well. So yeah, if you've ever participated in a reading vlog or have any hints or tidbits I can use for future ones, let me know in the comments. Other books that you think would be good for reading vlogs, let me know too. I thought this would be a good one for me to start with since it is a pretty hyped up book, but we'll see as we get closer to finishing and producing this video what happens and if you all like it. So that's that, and away we go. I'm realizing I probably should have read the synopsis first a little bit more closely so I wouldn't be so confused, or I had a better idea of what was going on. So I thought it was she gets forgotten like after 24 hours or like a day, but it's like as soon as she leaves the room or like is out of sight of the person that she meets, like she's forgotten. So she just tried on a bunch of clothes and the person who saw her to the changing room knew her, and then once Addie, LaRue, came back out from trying clothes on, like the girl didn't recognize her at all. So I didn't realize that. So let me read you the synopsis real quick. Never pray to the gods that answer after dark. France, 1714. In a moment of desperation, a young woman named Adeline meets a dangerous stranger and makes a terrible mistake. As she realizes the limitations of her Faustian bargain, being able to live forever without being able to be remembered by anyone she sees, Addie chooses to flee her small village as everything she once held dear is torn away. But there are still dreams to be had and a life to live, and she is determined to find excitement and satisfaction in the wide, beckoning world, even if she will be doomed to be alone forever. Or not quite alone, as every year on her birthday, the alluring Luke comes to visit, checking to see if she's ready to give up her soul. Their darkly thrilling game stretches through the ages, seeing Addie witness history and fight to regain herself as she crosses ocean and tries on various lives. It'll be 300 years before she stumbles into a hidden bookstore and discovers someone who can remember her name, and suddenly everything changes again. So, yes, lots more to come, obviously, but that helps a little bit. So there's some context there, some history, and I'll get back to it. Okay, so my laundry just finished, so this is a good time for me to stop right now. I'm about 50 pages in, and I'm at the point now where Addie, so it goes back into two different time frames. So one is back in the 1700s when she is young and this curse isn't put upon her, and then it goes back into 2014 where we know she's been living for a few hundred years. So now I'm at the part where we're back in time and she's making the deal, or she is cursing herself and she doesn't know it. And it's that part of books that you're like, you know what's going to happen, but you know the main character doesn't, and making the deal with the devil, or this character reminds me a lot of Rumpelstiltskin, so that kind of was going through my mind. But I like, there's a few points I did tab while I was reading the first few pages. It's about the wanting to live and be free. And I mean, it reminds me a lot of like the grass is always greener kind of mentality. And she wants to see the world. She wants to explore and get out of her small town. And I feel that way sometimes, just to, like, not that there's anything wrong where I'm from or where I live, but there's just so much more out there. But what does that sacrifice look like? So that's been interesting to me to see that with Addie so far. So we have made the deal, or she's made the deal, and we're gonna see what happens. Okay, I took a quick break for lunch and now continuing to read, but I wanted to pause since I'm at about 150 right there. So we're at the part now where Addie, it's in 2014, and she is now been recognized or somebody knows her after a day or a couple of times seeing her. So she's kind of intrigued by that. And I have some theories I want to explore a little bit, but I'm like, that might be a little too obvious what I'm thinking right now. So who knows? But back in the past, and I love that part too, like that it goes back and forth between her life in the 1700s and every year leading up to where we're at now in 2014 with the present day stuff. But yeah, we learn that every year on the anniversary of when she made this deal, the darkness or the devil that made the deal with her comes and visits and asks her if she's given up or like she wants it to stop, which would be a taking of her soul. It's not like it's a deal and then she can just wiggle her way out of it. It's okay, this is the price you wanted for it, but I'm here to collect, and if you want it, then I can take it now. But she keeps putting it off. She's still in the younger experiences. It hasn't been the greatest experience, but she's slowly getting positives or some wins in there. So seeing beauty, art, travel, that kind of stuff, but it's not easy. So he's trying to manipulate her a little bit, saying like, you're gonna one day be begging me to take your life or take your soul, but it's only a matter of time. So pretty interesting. I'm not sure. I'll have to see. My eyes are getting kind of tired, so I might take a little break soon and do some kind of chores and stuff around the house, but we'll see if I'll be able to finish it today. It is very engrossing, very exciting and entertaining, but also I'm getting kind of tired, so we'll see with that. So that's a little bit of an update. All right, it's a new day. I stopped at probably around like 3 or 4 yesterday afternoon and then started working on a Harry Potter puzzle, and that was very engrossing and led me through the rest of the night. So at that point, I was just about halfway through for Addie LaRue, and what was happening? We got to another twist, which is one I did see coming. I wondered it. And the theory was somewhat confirmed. There's some other parts of my theory that are yet to be revealed, so we shall see. But it's interesting. It's playing into a different storyline right now to kind of explain what's been going on. I am on page 322, so about 120 pages left. Yeah, it's been an adventure for sure. I still like the back and forth of the time periods. I think that's pretty interesting, and her interactions with Luke, or that comes from the shortened version of Lucifer, is her nickname for him, for the darkness or the devil that's taken or wants to take her soul, and the lengths that both of them are going through to kind of prove the other one wrong or to kind of have the other one give in. So it's an interesting little game between the two of them. And then I thought a lot when I was going to bed last night. I thought a lot about the price we pay, the sacrifices we make. I know yesterday I had mentioned what the sacrifices are for travel or to be able to go on one's own and have freedom. But it's also like anything that you wish for or pray for, there's always going to be a condition, or, well, maybe not always, but I guess I'm pessimistic or realistic enough to think that anything you wish for, there's going to be some kind of reaction. Maybe you weren't necessarily expecting, or some kind of outcome that you weren't expecting. So it made me think of all the things that I've wanted or wished for. So for example, I would love to work in the book industry and work with books full time, but my nervousness and anxiety and maybe the outcome, well, I guess I'm expecting it, is that I may not enjoy reading as much, because then it becomes work, and I don't know, that makes it sound like nothing can be enjoyable that you get paid for, but I hope that's not true. But I just don't know what that looks like. So yeah, anyway, I've been enjoying, again, this process of vlogging. This is very new to me. I did, I'm not done yet. I will probably in the next time make one with a book that's a little bit shorter, because I do like the challenge of reading a book in a day, but I this is a little bit dense to try to do that, which is fine. But yeah, in one day, that's a little bit too much to ask of me, and I put the pressure on myself. Nobody else asked me to do this. So yeah, I've talked to you all a bunch already. I'm gonna get back to some reading, see some shots of me reading. How exciting. But yeah, we'll hope to finish this up, and then I'll do a wrap up of what I thought. It is done. It is complete. 6 parts, 442 pages, 2 days. Man. I can see why people have a lot to talk about. This is, speechless, beautifully written, catches your attention, holds your attention. I was thinking a lot during it how Addie LaRue and her relationship with darkness, or Luke, remind me a lot of Stockholm Syndrome, of feelings that aren't really there, or just finding something to hold on to, or some kind of consistency in a world that is scary, or you're just sad and don't know what else to do. So that was kind of interesting interaction with them. There was another turning point where I wondered about a significant object, or an object that they kept focusing on, and then kind of the vagueness of an agreement. This is really hard to do without spoiling it, because just in case somebody watches this that is still in the midst of reading it or wants to read it later, I don't want to spoil it completely. But yeah, like, wording is important when it comes to asking for what you want, making deals. That is very clear in this. Also thinking about what price you pay. I think I've mentioned that a couple of times, but it makes me feel so negative, and I hate that feeling of, or like, I know in a book, like, something has to happen. There has to be some kind of rise in action, some kind of conflict. So I was looking out for that when deals were being made, just knowing that something has to go awry. But I wondered, I know I said before, like, thinking about your wishes and your prayers, that there might be something that you're not thinking of that could be not what you expected in a bad way. But I hope that doesn't prevent people to hope and to want and to yearn something that they don't currently have, or they're working towards. So maybe that's the thing too. Like, there was a point of desperation for these characters that make these deals, and that just seems like the only way. But it's easier to say that now, or when they know what happens when you make that deal. But in the moment, if they're able to kind of step back and see what's hard work. I know that this is so optimistic or naive to think this way, but I don't know, I think there has to be some kind of hope in there somewhere. But again, like, these characters don't know it when they're making these deals. But if they thought about it, like, what could have happened, what kind of things can they do to embrace their present and their future, even though it may look not so great in the moment. So yeah, it's interesting. It's this, I believe I want to reread this, not right now, because that was a lot to take in, but I do want to reread it for, like, things I might have missed. Obviously there's things that people are going to miss, but like symbolism that I might have missed, some like metaphors, because there are some bigger picture pieces in here about living forever, or mortality, immortality, deals, truth, being remembered. What does that mean to be remembered? Does it matter? Yeah, it's interesting. There's a lot of bigger questions there and I'm not that kind of person that can sit and digest all of this at once. Like, it'll probably take me a few days, weeks to fully understand what I just read. But no, I thought it was brilliant. It's definitely well-deserved in the most talked about books. I know this is in 2020, but hopefully people are still reading it. Another part of the ending, I thought it was kind of cheesy, of like the bigger picture of the story, if you know what I mean. That seems like it's a trope, or it's a storyline or a plot in a lot of other books, movies, and TV shows I've seen. So that was kind of disappointing, but then I know why V.E. Schwab did it for Addie. So I go back and forth with that. I'm not sure. Like I do this a lot. Like I see both sides of a situation. So I can see the pros and cons with that decision. So yeah, 5 out of 5 stars, not 7. Or if we want to do 7 out of 7 stars for Addie's freckles. Yeah, amazing. Otherwise, thank you for letting me show you around through my reading experience. I kind of like this style. Like I'm used to doing book reviews, which again, I don't do them right away. I have to sit with the quotes and the moments of aha and all that kind of stuff. But this, I kind of liked documenting it because it allowed me to slow down, which I don't really do too much when I'm reading through a story. There's a few tabs in here of quotes or like things I want to come back to that I think were foreshadowing, I guess, or just really cool like quotes I want to look back through. But I like this kind of review. I can't do this all the time because this did take a lot of time to put together and to figure out, or have like a couple days set aside. Because usually if I were, well, I guess I could do a reading vlog where it's not done in 2 days. It's over a course of a week or however long it takes me to read a book. So if that's of interest, let me know. But I liked that ability to reflect in the moment in real time. So maybe that's something I'll do in the future. If you have a book that you want me to do that for, let me know. I have all of my books that I currently own that are unread on my Goodreads account, and I'm also working on my Storygraph account. So feel free to head over there to see what books I am going for, because I'm trying to do the unread shelf challenge from Whitney Conrad to read the books that I currently own, and I'm on a book buying ban, all that kind of stuff. So let me know from that list, or anything that you want me to read in the future, maybe when my book buying ban is over and I've read a majority of the books on my unread shelf, I will get to that book too, but I'd love to hear from you all. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up, comment down below what you thought, and any thoughts of Addie LaRue. If they do have spoilers in it, like try to say spoiler warning in case, again, other people are reading through the comments, or you can just message me if you want to share your thoughts that way. Feel free to hit subscribe to see more videos like this. Like I said, I might do more book reviews, reading vlogs in the future, maybe 1 a month at a minimum to start with, and see what happens there. But yeah, if you'd like to support me further, there is a Amazon wishlist and a Ko-fi page link listed below in the description. But otherwise, I hope you have a wonderful day and happy reading.